Okay. Yeah, my name's Tim. I'm an alcoholic. And my sponsor flipped a coin between me and another guy that he sponsors. And I guess I got heads. So here I am. I got 3 years sobriety. And Alcoholics Anonymous. Man, I'd get a week here, I'd get a couple days. I even, stayed sober one day long enough to make it to a meeting. I bought a big book, and then on the way home I got drunk. But at least I had the book, And that went on for quite a few years. I was, finally I got my ass kicked bad enough where, my wife had left, and she took the kids with her. And, I was stuck in this house that we had bought, and we were losing it. Because I didn't work for a year. I just stayed drunk, And I never came home, and I tell her I was going to go look for work. And I'd go on my way to Vegas, because there's tons of work out there, And I'd make it to Barstow, and I'd be there for like 4 days, And I'd make my regular phone calls every day, how, there ain't nothing going on, I can't find nothing right now, and all that other bullshit. And but that's the way I wanted it to be, I withdrew my annuity that I had, and I drank for a whole year. And it was weird how it happened, because I remember looking, people helped me get places in my life. When I look at it now, since I got sober, and I've done my 4-step, and I've taken a look at people that I've harmed, and I'm working on my 9th step, but I've taken a look back, and I could see how many people have helped me out since I was a kid, and there was nothing anybody ever did that made me drink, and there was nothing anybody could ever do to make me stop. And I didn't want to become an alcoholic. My mom's an alcoholic. It runs through my family. My grandfather, he died of emphysema and alcoholism, practicing. And it just progressed, And so anyhow, these people helped me get these things. And I remember standing back, taking a look at my house. I'd done some work on it and stuff. And, I had my wife who it says drinking isolates the wife of the alcoholic, And that was the first thing that started happening. And I thought to myself, what's next? I looked at all this stuff, these cars and all this crap that I had, things, material things, that I thought I got for myself, And so what ended up happening was, in here, I had a drink, There was nothing they could fix what goes on in here. And except for alcohol, and other things, So she lost the ability to control and enjoy my drinking, right? So she left, and so here I'm stuck in this house. I'm losing it. People are coming over. I'm having parties all the time. I'm giving away my carpet, There's like nails sticking out of the ground all over the house. And yet I still thought I wasn't as bad as the people that were coming over, And, I could have died many days there. Anyhow, I came down here, I got sober. This is the place I got sober at. And what happened this time was in and out of Alcoholics Anonymous, not following the suggestions people were telling me, thinking that I'm the alcoholic who doesn't have to do nothing, Maybe just the one that has the allergy, and not the other stuff that goes along with it. So what happens is, I'm able to stay sober for a little while, and my head always talks me into taking a drink, And maybe, not everybody that comes here needs a relapse, but I had to a bunch of times, because I had to get a clear recognition of the condition that I have. And it took relapses for me to see that. And hopefully you don't have to do it if you're new. Hopefully you don't have to do it. There's a lot of good people that I know that have a lot of time that haven't had to do it. But so anyhow, I got here this time, and I knew that I had to surrender to this program, because if I didn't surrender to this program, it was going to be the same thing. It was going to be seeing the same people day after day, meeting after meeting, hear them talk about, doing this and doing that. And my family was suffering, my children were suffering from my disease. I had partial custody where I was able to watch them, you know. And I'd come home, and the last time that I drank with my kids around, you know, I went out to a bar and I left them in the house, and I came back in and I opened the door, and they were laying right there, and I thought to myself, wow, you know, because I remember when my mom was a drunk, and I told myself I wasn't going to be like that, you know, and now look what I'm putting through my kids through, you know. And I started realizing that, you know, alcohol had me. You know, there was nothing that I could do. And so I decided to come back here this time and do something, you know. So I got a sponsor. Mike's got 7 years, you know. I mean, when I first got here, there was people around this club with like a month, right? They were telling me just what I needed to hear, you know. They were telling me just what I needed to hear to stick around here. So if you got, you know, if you're new and you got a little bit of time and you don't think you have something to give away, just find somebody newer than you. You'd be surprised, man, you know. Because it was the people with a little amount of time that were helping me make it through those first days. And so we're all important once we make it here, you know. So don't think you have to reach a certain area in your sobriety before you have to start helping people, because I mean, I think that's why we get long-term sobriety, you know. I think that's why I've been able to get 3 years, you know. That's from helping people. You know, I've been in and out of treatment programs that didn't work, you know. It just didn't work for me. I mean, they told us to go to Alcoholics Anonymous, but then they had all these other things that went along with them. It didn't work for me. But I remember one of the prerequisites that they wanted me to have when I was in there was that I find a sponsor with somebody with 5 years or more. And I got to be honest with you, I tell you what, I wouldn't be able to get 3 years if I didn't start working with people, you know. So just got to put your hand out if you're new, you know, ask for help. You know, this disease is killing people all the time, man. I'll tell you what, my sponsor was talking about earlier. There was a guy that was here that, you know, helped me early in my sobriety. You know, he had like 90 days, you know. And he helped me. I was getting ready to leave this place. Once again, I'm thinking I cannot make it in AA because I just don't know how to surrender. You know, what am I supposed to do, right? So I'm leaving, and this guy stops in front of my car and says, hey, why don't you stick around? And he said just what I needed to hear. He said, there's a dance after this meeting. There's going to be all kinds of chicks, right? So that's what I needed to hear for that day, you know what I mean? So I stayed sober that day, and that night I met my sponsor, and I met Maureen. And we started talking, and I started telling him, like, you know, I cannot make it, you know. And, you know, you just watch people die around you, you know. And that guy that stopped me that night, you know, he died, you know. The disease got him, you know. And it's just crazy, you know. The longer you stick around, you know, most of you guys have more time than me. A lot of you do, because a lot of you have helped me, you know. But we see people come and go, and, you know, and I'm grateful that I'm here today. You know, I don't work the program like I should all the time, you know, because what happens is I work the program, I get things out of it, right? I get comfort, you know, and I get a little bit out of it, and then I relax, you know, I rest on my laurels, you know, and then I get right back in the middle of it again. Then I got to work my way back up, you know. But anyhow, I'm grateful to be sober, and I thank you for letting me be your 10-minute speaker. Thank you. 12 traditions. All right. Let's welcome from Woodland Hills, Clint H.